Hey there, welcome back to this week's episode of Finance Fridays. I'm Lucas Bolahood with Coldwell Banker Arbar Real Estate at the Bolahood Group, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-host Alexandra Jobb with Legacy Lending. Alex,
Woohoo.
how are things going in the mortgage world today?
Great.
Because today's October 25th. It's a big day with the Bank of Canada.
It's
So what
it's
happened?
one of those big Wednesdays that we wait for, and I am happy to announce that the Bank of Canada held its overnight rate. So that prime lending rate will be staying the same, and I know that's a sign of relief for those clients that have been on those variable rates or that have maybe hit their trigger rate and paying interest only. And every time a rate announcement would come with an increase, it sometimes resulted in payment increases. So, anyways, staying the same, and which is great news. It is an indication that the monetary policy is doing what it needs to do, which we've talked about in the past, and just easing price pressures, and inflation is slowly coming down. So that's a good sign, but we're not ready to, pop the champagne just yet. We'd like to see rates roll downward. But just to give you an idea in regards to pricing, I do get clients that are on variable looking for different fixed rates, or clients that are running scenarios. And I want to mention rates are going to be between like 5.5 to the high six, even 7%. I'm talking like A lender rates, depending on the term. I'm finding trends that clients are going into those 4 or 5 year fixed terms. Although we're expecting rates to come down, they don't want to take a higher rate for a short term. They'll look at taking the lower rate right now to reduce their payment, and maybe consider breaking in a few years if rates do trend downward.
Right.
So
And it's all
definitely
about
seeing that.
affordability, right? That's the big topic on people's minds, is how do I get through these next 12 to
Correct.
24 months and just manage my payments so I've got, I can keep our heads above water here, right?
Yes.
As cost of living
Now,
and everything has increased so much, people are
it's
plus their cost of housing, it's causing some concern for people, right?
housing affordability is still, yeah, a hot topic here. Now, in regards to interest rates, it's important to note that not everyone can get that rate under 6%. That's not for every transaction. And the reason being is there's different types of mortgages, whether they're insured or insurable or conventional, or, so if you're doing a purchase with under $1 million and we're insuring that mortgage through CMHC, for example, you're going to have a different price option using a 25-year amortization than, say, stretching to a 30 or 35-year amortization with another lender. So if you hear that neighbor got this, it doesn't mean that applies to every file. At Legacy Lending, we're going to do our best job to give you options to see what fits you best and how do we get you the lowest rate in whatever scenario that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't always look at what the neighbor got or what they sold their home for, that kind of thing. These are not comparable, items anymore, right? The
Yeah.
market the market's cooled down quite a bit here. Just looking at inventory every morning when I come in, and every week to see overall what's kind of been, how things have been progressing. And, we are trending to balanced market pretty quick here. We were at about, we were in that 2.5 months, or what was it, a month and a half, 2.5 months of inventory range at the end of September. The numbers escaping me right now. But, as I looked this morning, we're at 3 months of inventory, and that's based on the September sales. But if you look at what's sold so far this month, we're recording here October 25th. We've had 425 firm sales so far this month, and another 100 or so that are conditional. So, we're after being under 650 sales in September, we're trending to dip below that number in October here. Obviously, we'll see how things go, but that will mean that inventory is going to be on the rise. And, in light of that, prices will be doing the opposite. They'll be coming down. Again, interest rates and affordability being a big driver of that.
So the market is changing. And when it's balanced, the clients that are buying, you've got a little bit more time and it's less pressure because, like you said, there's conditional offers, right? So they're coming in with financing conditions and home inspections, maybe even conditional upon their sale, so they know what they're getting before they commit to buying, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people are of the mindset that they want to buy their home first before they actually list their current property, because they don't want to feel like they're under pressure to sell their own home before their new home transaction closes. But when you know, we've talked about this before. How do you know what equity you're going to get out of your home if you haven't sold it yet? And that those funds, more often than not, are used towards a down payment,
Mhm.
right? For that new mortgage. So, you stand to, potentially, what if you come up short in terms of making that move for the equity you needed of the home, right? So that's where that SBP, sale to purchaser or buyer's property condition, comes into play, because it does help them still, buy the home they want first, assuming that the seller is agreeable to giving them the time to try and get their home on the market. But it's a tricky one to do that
Mhm.
because, homes are taking longer to sell. And
Yeah.
if the seller is going to include, let's say, an escape clause in their agreement of purchase and sale, that, if another offer does come along, and you haven't sold your home yet, you might have to walk away from that purchase because you don't know exactly what you're going to get for your home in order to make the numbers work for the purchase of that new property. So getting your home sold first secures that equity position that you're going to get out of the property, your
You know
proceeds,
exactly what
secures
you
those
have.
proceeds of the property,
Yeah.
more or less, until you actually complete it and everything ends up in the bank. But it's really important to figure that out first, to make the safest decision you have possible. But being that we're in a balanced market, there's a lot more inventory out there. It's just people need to understand what's happening, and the market is moving much, much slower than it was in the past couple of years that we've sort of conditioned ourselves to. And this is a healthier, more balanced market for people to buy a home in.
It'll be interesting to see. And I know as the month wraps up, like when we're into November, we'll look back at October and see what the average sale price was and how that's trending, because I know you do that on a monthly basis. I just wonder how this month wraps up.
Well, we started 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Our average sale price was around $888,000 or
Mhm.
886, somewhere in the high eights. And we were at
Mhm.
907 in September. So I do expect we're going to get under
Yeah.
that $900,000 mark
Okay.
before the end of the year here. So it'll kind of look like the year in itself was a bit
It's
of a
not a
wash.
huge change. Yeah, not a huge
No,
change.
I mean, we were on the downward trend for all of last year. We
Mhm.
from February on, things were trending down on the pricing side of things, and this year we actually peaked in, I believe it was June or July, right
Yeah.
along with those couple of increases we saw in the summertime with the Bank of Canada.
Yes.
And it's
Back
been
to back.
trending, yeah, and it's been trending down since, right? So we're kind of back to where we were at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So buying right now is a task that not everyone is prepared for, and
Mhm.
we're going to come up with some more tips for people, whether it's ways to improve your credit score, or ways you can sources of down payments that you can go that you can explore as well, and things like
Yeah.
that, just to help you best prepare yourself to make a move if that is the decision, or that's the
That you
life
want to do.
for us this year.
That's great.
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to have too much more to report on until we see how October wrapped up and what happens with the Bank of Canada in December. Do you think we're going to see another rate increase before the calendar turns over?
So with what I've been hearing, they said they're not taking that off the table. So it's be prepared. But you owe me a coffee for this one because I said no rate
I did,
increase.
didn't I? I did. I was being Mr. Pessimistic, thinking we were going to see rates increase
I had a
again,
few
but
people. Yeah.
I do. Well, I'll take that order. You can send me a text and I'll get that in the Uber on its way over to you, and we'll get you caffeinated. But obviously, it's a positive sign for the market right now for people looking to buy a home, and that's a good thing in the interim here. So we'll wait and see what happens in December
Let,
6th, I think it is.
let's hope it's peaked. Let's hope it's peaked. I'd love to
Yeah,
look
we'll
back on
see
this
how
and know
things.
this was the time and that's it.
That's right. Well, we'll see how things go into the holidays there, and obviously we've got Halloween coming up. And what's your costume idea this year?
And we're still not there. I bet we could share a photo after, next time, share the photo.
I'm trying to get it out of
I'll
you.
be the door lady, I think. Again,
Uh,
photographer and door candy giver outer.
oh, right. You're the you're keeping.
Costume coordinator, photographer, chef, cleaning crew, everything.
I've had some fun the last couple weeks, getting ready for Halloween with some of our clients. I do little pop by for Halloween. This year I'm
Uh-huh.
doing adult trick or treat bags, but I'm delivering them in full costume.
Oh,
I've gotten some funny looks out the front window. Who the heck's this nut job dressed in full costume at my door? But then they realize it's me, and kids and stuff like that get a
jeez.
hoot out of it all. So it's
I
been.
hope the costume's not scary. That would be
No,
kind
it's
of
not
creepy.
scary. I'm a I'm a bit of a video game junkie growing up, and Super Mario movie came out, and I jumped on that one pretty quick. So my boys are right into it, and my oldest wants to be Mario, so I get to be Luigi. So it's me running
Awesome.
around with a
Oh,
mustache.
that's all
Not
right.
a great look.
That's acceptable at your door.
Yeah, totally. But it should be a good time. So hopefully everyone stays safe out there next week, and hopefully hope for some good weather as well. I did hear some snow might be in the forecast. But anyways, I hope everybody has a safe and happy Halloween, and play a couple of tricks on some of our neighbors out there just for some fun. Keep it real. But
Awesome. Have
anyways,
fun.
that's all we got for you this week, folks. Alex, thanks so much again for your time. We'll be
Thanks.
with you again soon, and until then, bye for now.